right. Welcome to another Charlene's Vision. Yes, Charlene's Vision. You don't see Charlene Vision up there, right? It's a new episode, and we're going to have some fun with it. It's called Kiss the Frogs. So we're going to be going into the Kiss the Frogs episode. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be for you. So, Ed, what is this Kiss the Frogs?
Thank you, Charlene. Yes, exciting new season of Charlene's Vision. And Kiss the Frogs, we got the name from the old saying, you gotta, when you're dating, you gotta kiss a lot of frogs to find your prince and princess. It's like an old story. So this is a show about online dating and some advice and fun things to come. Maybe you could tell a little bit more about it.
Right, yeah. So basically, this is going to be a fun show. And why are we doing this? We're doing this to educate you. We're making it awareness for you. And we're doing it to have fun. So this is the new show of Kiss the Frogs. And we're just going to be doing it to just educate you on Kiss the Frogs. But we're going to have some fun doing it, you know. So, you know, it'll be some laughter. Because dating is supposed to be fun, right? So that's what we want. We want fun out of dating, don't you think? Because, you know.
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to be starting with that. So Ed, so who are these shows are for? Like, who's to be watching these shows?
Yeah, because I'm sure some people out there are thinking like, well, I'm not really online dating. I'm married, or maybe I don't want to date right now, or maybe I like dating traditional way. It's for everybody. So whether you're married, it'll be really fun and entertaining. If you're on the dating scene or interested in the online dating scene, this is a great place to find out more information, hear these funny stories in just a fun, comfortable way. And hopefully you learn things along the way.
So why do people online date? Like, why online dating? Because I hear people like, online dating? No, that's not for me. So technically, online dating it's like I said, it's fun. I think it gives you a more of a variety of people. It's just like going into the grocery store, right? And you just see those same people every time, right? So when you do this, you have a large range of people. You know, you meet people from different towns, sometimes even different states. So that's it. I think it's just variety of people. That's why people do it. And then I think you can find more of your match, because technically when you on the site, you know, you could be looking at things and say, okay, this person matched with me, versus like if you someplace else, you don't really know all of that information.
Yeah, and for folks that really, you know, are a little bit afraid of online dating, hopefully this breaks the ice for them and they can learn more. But there's traditional ways of dating as well. You have, you know, meeting somebody at a club, at a bar, or in, you know, at a restaurant, you know, or maybe you get a blind date if you trust somebody. I'm sure there's a lot of funny stories there. And then also, too, there's these things called meetups where you have common interests. You go hiking, you go golfing, etc. And you can meet people through there too. So there is alternatives to this, but for our focus, we like to talk about online dating because it's how we met. And it's also too a great way to meet a diverse population, as you mentioned, Charlene.
Yeah, that is. It is definitely good, and it's very interesting to do something like that. But you definitely got to be careful doing online dating, right? So it's not something that you just jump into. So we're here to give you guidelines as well of what online dating is. You know, you don't want to be just. Sometimes definitely you need to let somebody know where you are and let some people know, because you don't want to just be going on a date, right? And trusting people because you don't know them, you know?
So our show will go through that, and we'll be sharing some like stories from folks and doing a variety of different things, but maybe you want to mention too, like what we're looking for. And
so basically, if you are interested in online dating, you could come on the show and you could give your experience. You don't even have to let us know. It could be anonymous. If you want, that's fine as well. We can just read it, or you can come on the show if you feel comfortable with it. But, you know, we want to protect people out there. You know, we won't say the names of the people because we want to protect everyone's privacy. And, you know, some people just don't know about this. So we just want to make sure that we definitely do it as a clean cut, and we can just say different names and maybe different places, so people won't get so upset about, you know, online dating, or you telling the business about what happened on your date, which would be funny. So definitely, I think that would be great.
Definitely funny. We're not going to be completely serious on the show, are we, Charlene?
No, we're not going to be completely
We're going to lighten things up, right?
Yeah, we're going to make it fun for you. We're going to make you laugh, because you need some laughter in your life.
That's right.
Yes. So, Ed, I know, you know, this is a surprise, so you're going to be telling me some stories about some dating sites or some information. And I don't even know this, by the way, so, but you got to just tell me what you
Yes. So it's really interesting because I picked out a couple stories I found online. There's no names or anything like this. And, I told Charlene there was no way I was going to give her a sneak peek at this. I was going to be live.
I tried.
She has no idea what I'm going to talk about. So you're getting reactions, true reactions. So I have a couple stories. Let's see how many we can get through today. Okay?
Oh.
Here's a real short one. This is kind of warm you up a little bit.
Okay, here we go.
Somebody wrote in and said, I met this guy on Tinder. We met up at a movie theater. He didn't speak to me the entire time. He paid for my ticket and brought me a bunch of movie snacks. We just watched the movie, and after it was over, he gave me $50 and said goodbye.
Oh,
So,
my goodness.
what are some things that stick out to you there?
First of all, he said goodbye, so he doesn't want to see you again. That's number one. And he didn't say anything. And maybe I think he was kind of nice because he's like, okay, I'm going to still pay for this movie. But I think what's going through his mind is like, after this show, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I am not going to
the thing was, he bought her ticket. He bought her a bunch of snacks. So it's not like he gave her $50 to say, here's for the ticket, your gas. He paid her $50. Charlotte, I was thinking, this is a business opportunity for me. There was plenty of women who just want to go to movies and pay for my ticket and pay for my food and make $50.
I know,
right? Hey, that's about $25 an hour.
That sounds good. But
That's a pretty good business right there.
yeah, it is. We can at least pay that $50 could be for gas, too.
So what do you think this guy was, thinking?
Like I said, he was like, this is my first and last time on this date, and he must have some money because the $50 was generous. I got to say that.
Yeah, that was weird. And if I was her, I would feel, everybody feels differently, but I could see someone being insulted, like, I'm being paid for this? This is kind of odd. I'm sure they like getting the $50, but if it was role reversal and it was me, I wouldn't know what to say. I'd be like, what just happened,
I would say that too, especially me. I'm like, oh my goodness, what went wrong? He didn't say anything while they was watching the movie, which was weird. So he definitely didn't want to get to know her, definitely, right? Because silence doesn't mean good. When you talk, then that means you want at least to get to know someone. But when you are silent, that means I don't care what you got going on. I'm just waiting. I'm surprised he just didn't say, let me get up and go to the bathroom and never came back. Mm-hmm. Right? Because he could have did that too. So I'm saying he was kind of respectful. So if I was to grade this from a 1 to 5, I think this would probably be a 2 maybe.
That's probably it, And there's not much to the story, so we got to know he never contacted. She would probably put it in here if he made contact again. So I guess that's good for her. She probably dodged a bullet. What do you think?
Yeah, so she kissed the frog.
Yeah,
she probably didn't even get a kiss, huh?
No, but that definitely stayed a frog. There was no prince or princess there.
No, that wasn't. Yeah,
So,
sorry. I guess you could continue looking. Keep kissing those frogs.
you want to do another one?
You might as well do another
All
one.
right, let's do another one. Here's the one. It's a little bit longer. I went on a date with a guy from Tinder. I had to drive to him because he lost his license. He was nice, had lunch, and wandered around and then left. We texted afterwards. The next morning, though, I woke up bombarded by messages saying, "Why are you still asleep? You've been asleep over 8 hours. And how's my little best friend?" referring to her son. And when he came, and then he texted, "When can we hang out again?" And she's like, "Sorry, man, back off." So isn't that like...
Wait, hold up. I didn't get the gist of all of that.
So basically, she went on a date with this guy. It seemed like they kind of connected. She went home, went to sleep. 8 hours later, she woke up to a bunch of text messages of him saying, "Hey, why are you still sleeping? What's going on? How's my little friend?" Meaning her son. Now, it doesn't go on to how, he knew she had a son. I don't know if she
maybe they had that conversation.
Or maybe that conversation.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, when can we hang out again?" That's pretty creepy on multiple levels. But what do you think? Do you think that's pretty aggressive to say, "Hey, why are you still sleeping 8 hours after a date?"
Yeah, I have no idea on that one because it's like she was tired. Maybe that day wore her out. Who knows? But sometimes people sleep longer. I mean, that probably could have been me too. I sleep a lot. But basically, I don't know if she said he wants to go back out on a date with her. I don't think that would be a good choice.
I mean, one of the things that,
What do you think?
I'll bring up that I've talked to my friends about in situations, everybody has a different tempo of communication, texting. But when you first meet somebody, I think it's a good idea to kind of cool the jets a little bit. You send a message saying, thank you for a nice date. And you wait. If it gets into 24 hours, 40 hours, you don't hear from somebody, you send a message. But to instantly go from like that first date to like a relationship type of communication where you're communicating all the time, is I think unrealistic expectations.
Yeah, I have to agree with that as well. Yes, I think he went a little too aggressive because all of the texts after that. And it's like, why you still sleep? Like, okay, so yeah, I think he was kind of that. He needed to lay low, lay back, and say, hey, how did you like the date? Just take it slow. I know sometimes you're excited, but you know what? Another thing he could have did, he could have just like wrote everything down on the paper for his, because if that's something he is, like if he has anxiety, so he could just write it down, but just do not send it to her. Just do a draft or something just to be having it. But sometimes things like that just turn people off, because it's like, okay, they can be just too aggressive and all of these texts in the morning. So that could be a turnoff right there. So even if she probably liked him, maybe and give him a second chance, maybe she's like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna move forward, because if he's like this just on the first date, imagine on the second and third date.
Oh yeah, that's a great point. And then I'm going to ask you a question from a mother perspective. Like when he says, how's my little best friend? Now, whether he met the son, which would be unusual for a first date, or just talked about it, when a man says, how's my little best friend without building a relationship, how does that, from a mother perspective, if you were in her shoes, how would that make you feel?
I would be like, stay away from my kid. Stay away. I would definitely be like, stay away, because that is something like, I wouldn't trust that at all.
Okay,
I definitely would not go back out there, because that's like a violation, boundary issue.
yeah, thank you. Very creepy. And I just realized I need a red flag for the show, because you got to throw a lot of red flags there, because that's just too much.
It is. It's definitely too much, because you don't want to have that. My best friend, you shouldn't even talk about the son at all, first of all. Just because, you just knowing this person for the first time and stuff. So you want to just make sure you build a rapport with her first.
Yeah.
So she can trust you. And if that's not going to happen.
And she should also probably mention him, why did he lose his license? I know you probably caught that in the beginning, but he lost his license. And not to judge people, I mean, things happen, I get it. But usually to lose your license, it's got to be, something substantial. And that might be, you have to understand, like, why. I mean, you're going to be picking him up, or he's going to have to Uber around. But, that's another. So, again, try not to be judgmental, but you got to put these pieces together. And if it was me and I had somebody say, well, how was my little best friend? I'd be like, that would kind of creep me out.
That would definitely creep me out as well, because that losing a license, it's like the person has a lot going on, and they need to get that straight, because if they lost that, it tells you about the character too, right? Doesn't it tell you about, okay, they lost this, how many else things that they lose? So it's just like, okay. But would you think about going on a second date with this person, Ed?
No way. I wouldn't. Now, everybody's different. Some people, and this is probably a good time to talk about like ghosting and blocking. You'll hear these terms as we talk about online dating. Ghosting, there's different like levels of ghosting, but ghosting could be you interact with somebody, you're having a regular communication, maybe you went on a few dates, and all of a sudden they disappear. You never hear from them again. This would be a situation where, well, for me, I like to use the block. I would just maybe send a nice note and block the person, or at least kind of ghost them, because you have to be careful, because some people just won't stop. They'll just keep going.
They won't stop, and that's the thing, too. So they do. Sometimes when you do ghost someone, you ghost them, but they might not ghost you back. So you be seeing all these texts, you're not responding, but they still texting. You be like, when are they going to stop? So the best thing is just to block them. But you also could be, see me, I'm kind of nice. I'd be like, I'm just not interested. I would just leave it like that. But I am going to block you. But the fact is that I would just say I'm not interested, because sometimes people be like, what happened? What happened? Maybe they changed their number. No, they did not change their number. So people think that, and sometimes that could be the case, but that's usually not the case, at least 80. But I think 90% of the time that's not the case. They changed their number, or their phone got lost, or they lost your number. No, usually it's they have your number, they just not interested. But me, I normally would say that I am not interested, so you know. And I always like to give people feedback too. I mean, what about that? Just say, hey, you know what? I felt this was kind of crazy that you actually, sent me all these texts. So they could they can be conscious next time. I always like to educate people, right? And just say, this is just a lot for me right now, so maybe I'm not interested. But at least when they go on the next date, they can have maybe not send texts and stuff like that. So I always like to educate people and let them know that they shouldn't really be doing all of that.
That's a really good point. And that's actually a very good tack to take. And you can't control how they're going to react to information. If they take it well, like you said, that's great. Maybe that's an opportunity for them to learn. If they don't take it well, that's out of your control. That's for them to, interpret the information as is. They're going to be upset with it one way or the other. But I think that's a great way to let people know, like you said, and educate them, because maybe they don't even know what they're doing.
They maybe don't, and that's the thing. And sometimes when people just say, "Oh my goodness," but if you don't tell them, they never learn from their mistakes. So if you say something like that, that'd be good. Another one thing I want to point out too is because sometimes that aggressiveness runs into, hey, they texting you and stuff like that. Just be careful. Do not even go on, have them know where you live a couple of dates. Because sometimes they who knows, they may knock on your door. So you just want to be careful of that as well.
That's a very good point. I know some people who use different names, or sometimes they use a different number or different email. These are the type of things to think about. And I know we're going to probably talk about this in a different show. But too, when you go on a date, it's always good to let somebody know that you're going on the date. And if you need any help, you can actually call them either during the date or after the date. Just, think of safety in mind, especially for your kids and stuff like that. You may want to hold off how much you tell a person about your children and different personal things like you mentioned, like maybe where you live, where you work. You got to, build up that comfortability. Exactly.
And like I said, just because all of these barriers is in the way, and meetups might don't even be better. So I don't ever want to weigh like, oh, meetups are better. Maybe sometimes having online, because at least you're not with that person. You can at least hear them out first. When you do a meetup, you actually physically seeing that person. So you're seeing that person already. So that person already see you, and then so that could be a little bit kind of strange as well, and it could be more scary that way. At least I think one thing is a little bit more safe is the online, and you having that communication. At least you can judge and maybe even never see that person in person. You probably just have a communication on the phone. So at least you're protected, right? Mm-hmm. Where a meetup versus a blind date, also, those are all physically seeing each other. So I think sometimes that's why I said
online dating. And that's an excellent point. And that's a great point for online dating. But let me tell you too, and the other side of that too is, remember, no matter if you meet people in person, online, people are people. There's no matter who tells you, there's no one perfect dating site.
Right.
You can go ones that are specifically for a certain age or a certain religion or a certain type of long-term, short-term. You could still meet good people and people that are not well connected with you on all the sites, even in person, even in meetups. But to what Charlene's saying, at least the online gives you that little added protection to put your toe in the water, kind of, find out a little bit more before you kind of jump right in, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I like that too. That's why I think online dating was great for me when I decided to do online dating. Yeah, because I looked at all of those avenues. But like I said, nothing is bulletproof. Things can still happen because people pretend one way, their personality, and then once you get to see them, they could be another way.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, and it's the same thing too. Like I said, you always just making sure you have someone, or even have someone come with you sometimes. Who knows? Whatever you feel like is comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you think we have time for another one? Real quick?
Yeah.
Let's do it real quick. I'll do it real quick. Let's make this. This will be the bonus story. I met up with a guy once from OkCupid. We had chatted online for a couple of hours. I met him at a pub with some friends. He talked for about an hour about mostly himself and his religious mother. Then I excused myself and it was late and I went home. On the way home, I messaged him and said, it was nice meeting you, but didn't feel it. Good luck with your search. He wrote a long diatribe about how I judged him without giving him a chance and how he was shallow, etc. So I wrote back and asked him what my name was, as it was on my profile. He didn't know. He spoke at me for an hour and never even asked my name. He messaged me for about 3 weeks straight while I didn't respond after that. Think my judgment is pretty spot on.
Okay, we're about to wrap this up. And the last one, we definitely just do not respond, block. Make sure you put another block on your door. You need to change your company.
So here's what I'm thinking. At the end, she's like, he messaged me for 3 weeks. I'm like, after that, you're still like, you got a message.
Change your number. If you could change your address, that would be awesome as well, because you need to just separate from that. And this is Charlene's Vision, the new episode of Kiss the Frogs. We have some great episodes for you, and you can see us next time on kissthefrogs.com. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you, Charlene. Thank you all.
Thank you all.